be a partner of ghiba. Now, why people do so many ghibas? What is the motives for that? Sometimes you see the guy is naive. He would like to be funny, would like to draw attention, say something that people would laugh, and then he start gossiping and backbiting. This guy said such and such, and then he makes gestures and name calling to become funny and cool, while he doesn't know that one day he has to pay for those things. Sometimes you see, no, the guy is jealous. He cannot stand a good person in community. Someone who helps, for example. Someone better than him. He cannot. He thinks that he is the best. He is the immaculate. No one above him. Therefore, you tell him about this person to be good, who has helped the poor, has helped the community. He said, no, you don't know about this guy. He only does it for himself, only to show off or something like that. He cannot stand anyone above him. That is due to what? Due to jealousy. And just wait for any mistake from the guy to go and attack him. Here Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, مَنْ رَوَى عَلَى مُؤْمِنٍ رِوَايَةٍ. You make up a story, and that story is true, in order to denigrate the person, to insult the person in a community. يُرِيدُ بِهَا شَيْنَهُ وَهَدْمَ مُرُوءَتِهِ لِيَسْقُطَ مِنْ أَعْيُنِ النَّاسِ. So it becomes discredited in a society. أخرجه الله من ولايته إلى ولاية الشيطان فلا يقبل بالشيطان. Allah will tell this guy, I am no more his guardian. I will give this person, this wonderful person, to shaitan. Shaitan will be his guardian. The shaitan also does not accept. He said, no, I don't want such kind of person. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we gotta be careful in this community. We are only 2.5 people. How many are we? So if we start attacking each other in our private meetings, what this guy does, what that guy does, eventually, wal-'iyadhu billah, that will be exacerbated, and as I told you, unfortunately, will damage everyone. And at that time, no one can do anything. Now, just briefly, to finish up, there are exceptions, brothers and sisters. There are exceptions for ghiba. No matter how terrible it is, how bad it is, there are also exceptions. Why? You know that Islam is full of values. Every aspect of Islam, you will see there is a beautiful value in it. Those values, sometimes you see that they have sort of conflict. Or there are some that are considered to be more important than others. You have two values. One is considered to be more valuable than the other one. At that time, you have to give that one a priority and leave the second one. I will give you an example. Prayer is wajib. And it's wajib in any conditions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. Allah have assigned the prayers. At any case, you have to do the prayers. But imagine, once you want to say Allahu Akbar, you have a child that falls, for example, in a pool, in a swimming pool, and he's dying. Here your duty to interrupt your salat, cut your salat, your prayers, and save the child. Why? Because the life of the child is more important than the prayer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, at this case, there's an exception. Keep your prayers behind while you have to save the life of people. Every one of us, every man has to go and provide for his family. Work hard, provide for them, guard them, nourish them and everything. But if the Islamic country gets attacked by the enemy, the jihad becomes wajib upon everyone. He has to leave the family to go to defend the entire society. So we have more important value and less important value. The same thing, sometimes the ghiba that is so horrific, sometimes the ghiba itself becomes a value. You say, where? This thing that Allah was telling me, cannibalism, now all of a sudden it become a value? Yes, the Quran says. Where does the Quran say? Quran says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ الْجَهْرَ بِالسُّوءِ مِنَ الْقَوْلِ إِلَّا مَنْ ظُلِمَ. You're not supposed to say negative things to attack others unless you are oppressed. So here the case has changed. When you have a tyrant, when you have an oppressor that attacks you, that denigrates you and jeopardizes your life, at that time you have to speak up. At that time, Allah will give you permission and right to tell you it is your time to speak. You should not be quiet. You should not conceal the mistake. Unfortunately, there are so many crimes takes place, but are gone not reported. Nobody reports them, especially in our countries. Do you think back in our communities, in our countries, there is no rape, there is no insult, there is no murder? Obviously there are, and plenty of them exist. But where is the problem? That the victim never discloses this, conceal it to herself or to himself. They never come to the public to say it because they either fear the attacker or they want to respect their own dignity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here you have to speak up. Even if jeopardizes the other person's well-being, but since he has oppressed you, at that time you have to stand up and speak up. There's an interesting story. They say during the Mu'tasim al-Abbasi, at that time the generals, all the generals were Turks, and they had the power in their hands. The Khalifa was just a Khalifa, governing. But the real affair was at the hand of the Turks, the Turk generals. One day, a man who used to be a tailor, this guy was approached by a gentleman. That guy came to him and told him that he owes money. Actually, he had lended money to one of those Turk generals. Give him money. That general owed him money, but this guy is not paying. The general is not coming back to pay this money. So this guy came and complained to this tailor. Somebody told him, look, you're not going to gain your money unless you go to this tailor and talk to the tailor. You know what the tailor is. He told him, go and talk to this person. This person will help you. Eventually he comes and talks to this guy and tell him about his ordeal, that the general has borrowed some money from him and not returning it back, and he needs it. The tailor said, okay, no problem. Tomorrow morning you come here and you will see your money is ready. Do you know where the address is? He says, yes, the address is that person, that general. He said, no problem. Next day, he come and see that the general is in the office, in the tailor shop, coming with the money, and gave the money very respectfully and apologized and said, sorry, where have you been? I was looking for you all the time. This guy have killed himself 4 months going after him. He doesn't give a damn about him. All of a sudden, he became so careful and gave him the money and told him, I have been looking for you, searching for you. Where are you? And this is the money. Sorry for taking it for so long. And went. The guy was baffled. He went after everyone to help him. No one could assist him except this tailor. And this tailor happened to be the mu'adhin. He would call the adhan. So he asked him, what is the puzzle? What's the mystery? There is something mysterious about this. The guy told him, look, I am a tailor, as you can see. One night, after the prayers, I was going back home. Back home, all of a sudden, I noticed that one of those generals attacked one lady and kidnapped her. She kept begging, screaming, telling him that I have family, I have husband, but he didn't let go. He kidnapped her and went to his mansion. So I went with my brothers, with my friends, to go to defend this lady. We had been beaten by the guards and they kicked us out, and I couldn't do anything. When I returned home, I could not help it. I needed to do something. The only thing that came up to my mind, that I go on the top of the minaret and do the adhan in the middle of night. So he went on top of the minaret and called for the adhan. One time, second time, third time, until the Khalifa Mu'tasim that was in the palace overheard the adhan. He wakes up, he said, is it Fajr? Is it the dawn? They say no. He said, what's wrong with this man? They had no idea. He said, call him. They called him, brought him to the